guys, welcome back to My Zone Online School. My name is Justicia Shipena and I'll be with you during today's journey of today's lesson. So for today we have pre-primary and grade 1 with teacher Haiti, week 4, lesson 1. Take it away.
Explanation of symbols on worksheets are as follows. Use coloring crayons to color the picture. Use your finger to follow the track or line or show the correct picture. Use a coloring crayon to draw a line or write a number or sound. Look at the picture and say the number or sound out loud. Use a scissors to cut on the dotted line. Look at the picture. Use these symbols for the lesson of the day, which will be allocated at the top right side of each page. For example, lesson 1, prepositions and directions.
Good day friends and welcome back to My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Hetty and let's say hello to our friend. Our theme for this week is colors, but before we start with our theme, let's sanitize our hands. Let's take the sanitizer. Let's spray it on our hands. Once you've sprayed it on your hands, let's rub it between our hands and let's rub it on the outside of our hands and then let's rub in between our fingers and let's give it a squishy, squashy, clean washy and then our hands are sanitized. Well, our lesson for today is all about colors. Well friends, our lesson today is on colors. Now when you remember the colors around you, you would look at things and see lots of colors on the outside. You would see the clouds if you look up and you would see it's white. You would look at the sky and you would see it's blue, maybe it's a light blue color. Well, you would look at the leaves and you would think, that is green. You would look at the branch of the tree and then that's brown. Well, I have some colors here today and I would like to tell you about colors. This is red, blue, green, orange, yellow, black, brown, pink, purple, gray. Well friends, before we start, and I want to explain to you a little bit more about colors, I would like you to turn to page 3 in your booklet. I have a fruit bowl for you here. So let's look at the colors of the fruits that we have here. A banana is yellow, but maybe not such a very bright yellow color. But if we look at the star fruit, it has lovely and yellow. Let's look at the grapes. What color are they? They are purple. Let's look at the apple. The apple is a lovely red color. Let's look at the tangerine. It is nice and orange, warm orange color. Did you know that a cucumber is a fruit and it is lovely green color? A watermelon on the inside is pink and on the outside it's green. A cherry is a lovely deep red color. Well friends, my bowl in which I have the fruits, it's a white bowl. So friends, if we look at the fruits, we will remember all of the colors around us. If you look at the things in your house, there is a lot of colors around us. If you look at the flowers, you will see beautiful flowers outside. Well, I would like to show you. I have 3 fruits in my hand. Well, I have an apple, and the apple is bigger. I have a tangerine, and it's a little bit smaller than the apple. I have a cherry. The cherry is a little bit smaller than the tangerine. Well, friends, the tangerine, the apple is big. The tangerine is not so big, and the cherry is very small. Well, let's look at it. Big, bigger, biggest.
Big, bigger, biggest.
Well, small, smaller, smallest. Well, friends, if you look at your page now, we are going to do the work on our page where we are going to color in the page on our book. Well, so let's go to the page. So if you look at the first circle, you'll see, or let's look at the biggest circle in there. The biggest circle would be blue. Blue like the sky, or just blue like the water at the swimming pool. So let's color the big circles blue. And then we look at the circles that are not so big, and we are going to color them green. Green like the leaves, maybe green like the grass, and the last circle you will color, the smallest one also you will color red. Let's remember the red apples or the red cherry. Well, friends, I hope you will be able to fill in your page and color in very, very nicely. Remember, stay on the lines of your circles. Well, friends, let's turn to page 4 in our exercise book. Well, if you look at that exercise, remember, we spoke about big and small things. So now I would like you to look at the tomatoes. I want you to color the biggest tomato yellow. Remember, we said bananas are yellow, the sun is yellow. So let's now look at the bears. Remember the 3 bears? But now I want you to color the smallest bear blue. Remember, the water is blue, or the ocean is blue, and there's lots of blue things outside. So the sky is blue, so color the smallest bear blue. And now you may turn to page 5. I'm going to invite my friend to come and stand with me. Well, friend, I would like you to show me the first flower. Well, let's color the first flower red. Show me the first chick. Let's color the first chick yellow. Show me the first leaf. Let's color the leaf green. And now let's look at the bowl. Let's color the first bowl blue. Well done, friend. And now let's turn to page 6. When we look at page 6, let's color the last bunch of grapes purple. Let's color it purple. Yes, friend, that's the last bunch of grapes. Is that correct? Well, friends, let's try again. Yes, that's the last bunch of grapes. And now let's look at the last pumpkin. Color the last pumpkin orange. Well done, friend. And let's color the last dog brown. Yes, well done, friend. And let's color the last tire black. Well done, friend. Well, friends, I hope you will enjoy this coloring exercise. Remember to color in the lines. And remember, keep your exercise book neat. Well, friends, you can turn now to page 7. There's a lovely cutting and coloring exercise. When you do this exercise, remember all the beautiful colors of the butterfly. Remember all the beautiful colors of the fruits and remember the colors that you've seen in class. You may also turn to page 9. There is a lovely, lovely exercise on page 9, and that is an apple. Remember, an apple can be red, green, or yellow. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Let's remember to sanitize, friend. Spray your hands, and let's rub our hands, and let's rub on the outside, and let's rub between our fingers, and let's give our hands a lovely squishy squashy, and we are all set and sanitized. Where is Joshi today, friend? I wonder where is Joshi today? Well, friend, let's say bye for today.
Hi everyone, I'm Josh and I'm back. Even though the schools are closed, I thought about we can still do online classes, learning and reading. You can also do your schoolwork. Until next time, bye!
Thank you so much, Teacher Haiti. I know you guys have been having a long weekend and now you have more time to work on these lessons. And I know now what's a fruit and what's a vegetable. So well done to Teacher Haiti there. But let's not forget about our grade 2s and 3. So we'll be having week 4, lesson 4 with Teacher Motsa.
Hello, grade 2s and 3s. Welcome to this week, My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Mutsa and I will be with you throughout the whole week. We have my special friend who will also be here the whole week. Our theme for this week is traditional and modern and house and building materials. So we'll be talking about building and all the exciting things that come with building. But before we get into our lesson, let us sanitize our hands. Let's put it in. By now you should know how to sanitize your hands. You can even teach your parents if they don't know how to. Round and round and on the wrists. Well done. It's also important for us to practice good social distancing. So we space out our hands. There we go. Make sure you're not touching anyone. And in front of you. Well done. For our first lesson, we're going to be talking about computing, place values, and data handling. Let's turn our page to page 3. Now, before we start page 3, we can see that there's a lot we need to talk about. Let's look at the board. The first thing you need to know is that we have something called decade numbers. And these are numbers that end with 0. I have them on the board here. You can see that we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. So all of these numbers are decade numbers. If you can't remember the word decade, we have zeros at the end of each decade number. So when we are now adding decade numbers, like the example on page 3, you can see that the decade numbers we have are 20 plus 40 equals 60. And we want to change that. Not only are we going to answer that sum, but we are also going to use the first digit. Let's turn back to the board. I've shown you what decade numbers look like, and now I'm going to show you what digits are. we can see that number 10 is a number, but it is made up of two numbers. We have 1 and 0. So a digit is the first one here, and another digit is the second one here. So our first digit is 1, and our second digit in the number 10 is 0. The same can be said for all the numbers as well. Our first digit is 6, and our second digit is 0. So when we are now adding decade numbers, we look at the first digit of every number. If you look on your page, on page 3, it says 20 plus 40 equals 60. And that's a very big number to add. So I am going to teach you how to get the answer without struggling. Let's look at the board. We have 20 plus 40 equals 60. To add these big numbers together, we are going to only focus on the first digit of every number. If we focus on the first digit of every number, you are going to see that it will say 2 plus 4 equals 6. And this makes our sum easier to add. So we have already been given the answer. 2 plus 4 equals 6 in the example. You can see on your page, on page 3, that first they added the decade numbers together by only focusing on the first digits, which are 2, 4, and then they came up with 6. And then for the single digits, they added them together. 2 plus 4 equals 6. Now let's take a look at the next number. It says 10 plus 10. Let's take a look at the board. We are going to try and do this together. So remember, I said that these are decade numbers that we are adding, but we are also looking at the first digit. So if we say 1 plus 1 equals dash, it makes our sum a lot easier. So we know our answer. It is very simple. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Now you are able to do the decade sum. You are going to just add a 0 to your answer. So we have our zeros here. And now our sum will read 10 plus 10 equals 20. Let's take a look at your page. You can see that you'll be able to not only add the decade numbers, but go right across and do exactly how we did it on the board by saying 1 plus 1 equals 2. Can you please write that in your book? And whilst you're writing that in your book, we can also remind you to make sure that your sums are all complete. Remember not to leave out any zeros for the decade numbers and the sums, and on the other side to only focus on the first digit of the number. The rest of these sums you can do by yourselves. For our second exercise, please can you turn to page 4. On page 4, you can see that we are dealing with decomposing. Now to decompose is to break down, to break up, or to separate. You can see that they gave us an example there. 23 equals 20 plus 3. But how did they get this answer? Well, let us try and do it on the board together. You can see I have the same sum. 23 equals 20 plus 3. And we are going to try and do the second one together. It says 17 equals dash plus dash. Now remember, I told you about the first digit in a number and the second digit in a number. Well, these digits are now breaking away. And if we write our 1 here and our 7 here, we have broken the digit apart. But this one is a decade number, so it will need a 0 to add here. Now our sum says 17 equals 10 plus 7. And you can check that in your book. I'd like you to write in your booklet where you see 17 equals. Can you please write 10 plus 7? So remember, first you have to break the number apart and separate it, and then you add a 0 to the first digit. The rest, I am sure you can do by yourself. Let's take a look at the second part of this exercise. Down below, we are now dealing with place value. Now I know you know place value from grade 1, and we're just going to explain it again. With place values, we are dealing with tens and units, where tens is the first digit and units is the second digit. Let's take a look at the board. So, using our decade numbers, I will show you where the tens are. Number 1, this digit here is a 10. And that means that the 0 is a unit. So every number that has 2 digits, the first one is tens and the second one is units. Let's take a look at our exercise. The first example we have is 45 equals 4 tens and 5 units. Now we are going to try number 1 together. Let's take a look at the board. We have the number 48. So I will write my 4 and I will write my 8. So it now says 48 is equal to, and how do we come up with the tens and units? Remember, I said that the first digit is a 10. So you can write a little T on top to remind you that this is tens. And then you can write a little U on top of the next digit to remind you that this is units. So we are now able to say 48 is equal to 4 tens, don't forget the S on the tens, and what do we see here? 8 units. Well done. I want you to please try that on your paper as well. Now, as you continue, if you get stuck on your page, let's look at your page. If you get stuck, you are going to just write a small T on top of the first digit you see and a small U on top of the second digit that you see. That way, you'll be able to complete the exercise by yourselves. Now let's look at the exercise that is on page 5. Here we can see that there are frames and dots that are inside the frames. It is our job as builders to fill in the missing dots in the frames that are blank. You are going to not only fill them in, but write the number of dots that you have filled in, as shown in the example. And because this is a very easy exercise, you're going to do this one by yourselves. Let's now look at page 6. On page 6, we are starting with data handling. Now, data is a type of information that has been put together and needs to be read. In this data, we are told that Navada surveyed her classmates to find out their favorite subject in school. She made a tally chart to record the results. Now there you can see that this is a tally chart, where on one side we have all the subjects and on the other side we have count. We already know what the subjects are, but we're not sure what count is. So let me help you explain all those sticks that you are seeing. Let's take a look at the board. Now when we are counting, when we're doing a tally chart, we use sticks or lines. Each line will be representing one person. If we look at the board, we have an example of what one person would look like. This is one person. This is also another person. But when we get up to 5, instead of putting another stick, we are now going to cross all the people here as sticks. And then we add it up to 5. So every bundle that you see is 5 people. Now that we know this, let's go back into our exercise. Our exercise is showing us that for maths, we have 2 bundles, and that will add up to 10. Reading has 3 bundles and 2 people standing by themselves. So if we add those up, including those 2 sticks, that will become 17. You can see that it is the same thing going down from writing to science to social studies. So now that we know how to read the tally chart, to say that maths has 10 people that they consider their favorite subject, reading has 17 people that they consider their favorite subject, writing has 3 people that they consider their favorite subject, you are now able to answer the questions below. We are going to do number 1 together. Number 1 reads, how many of Navada's classmates chose social studies as their favorite subject? So you are going to go to social studies on the subjects, and then you're going to look at how many they are. And instead of counting the sticks one by one, we know that we have 3 bundles. And we said before that 3 bundles is equal to 15 people. So we are going to count the remaining sticks by counting on. So we have 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So we now know that it is 19 people that consider social studies as their favorite subject. Please, can you write the answer as 19 classmates? The other questions you can do by yourselves. Let us now move down to the bar graph that we are seeing. The instruction says complete the bar graph to show the results of the following favorite subject survey. Use a different color for the bar for each subject. Now I know this is a very new thing for you, But don't worry, this is why I'm here. I'm here to help you understand. The first thing that we can see is that at the bottom, we have the subjects: math, reading, writing, science, and social studies. And then on the other side, we have numbers. We have 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, going up to 30. Where you see a bold line, that is where the numbers are sitting. But they are faded numbers in between these numbers, and they are also counted. So if we count properly, we have a number line from 0 to 30. I am going to help you fill in the first 3 subjects, which are math, reading, and writing. Let's take a look at the board. Now, you can see that I have tried to draw a bar graph. If we look closer, you can see that I have also put in my 3, my 6, my 9, my 12, going up to only 24 for now. How are we going to draw this bar graph? Well, we are going to use the tally chart before to make sure that the information on the tally chart is drawn on the bar graph as well. Now we know that Nevada has 10 of her classmates that like the subject maths. So we are going to take a look at the bar graph, and then we are going to count from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is where the number 10 is on the bar graph. So we are going to move down and draw a line from where we stopped, and then draw another line to make a bar. This is called a bar. And to make it much more clearer, we are going to color it or shade it. So we take our color and we are going to shade the bar. There we go. So now we can see what 10 looks like on a bar graph instead of just a tally. Let us move to another subject. The next subject that we can see is reading. Now, we know that the tally chart showed us that it is 17 people that like reading. So we are going to go to where reading is, and we are going to count up until 17 with our finger. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we know that our line is here at 17. Then just like we did for maths, where we drew this one, we are now also going to draw a line down, in the middle, and across, down. And this is how many people enjoy reading. But to make it clearer, we are going to color or shade. Remember to use a different color from the one that you used for maths. So let us shade our reading classmates. Remember, when you are coloring, to color one direction and to make it neat as well, so that you'll be able to see how many people really do enjoy reading. Now you can actually see the difference between how many people like maths compared to how many people like reading. Let us now do writing. We're going to do writing together. I want you to please take a different color. Take a different color. And we are looking at our tally chart. Our tally chart said that there are only 3 people that enjoy writing. So we are going to go with our finger again and start from 0 and count up to 3. Let's go together. 0, 1, 2, 3. So we know that 3 is here. We are going to take our pencil or color and draw the line down, across, and down. Like so. Then you're going to take your different color from maths and reading and shade or color the classmates that enjoy writing. And there you have it. We have taken what we have seen from Nevada's survey on the tally and put it in a bar graph. So the 2 are showing the same type of data. Now I'm sure you can do the rest by yourself and have fun. And remember, it's okay to make a mistake. You can still erase and get the correct data as well. I hope you enjoyed making the bar graph and that it looks very beautiful. I know you did a great job, and remember to check whether the information is the same. Let's now move on to page 7. On page 7, we are now back to place values, but in a different way. We can see that we are supposed to count the totals in the box, and we are starting with hundreds, tens, and then ones, which should sometimes also be called units, but we will use ones today. Let us now look at the first example. You can see that they started with hundreds. Let's take a look at the board so that we can see if they got the same answer and if we are going to get the same answer as well. There is 100. Remember, we start with hundreds, then tens, then ones. So we are only going to concentrate on the first digit of every number. We have 100, so we are going to write our 1. And then the next one is tens. We have only 1 10. So can you please write 1? The last one is only 5. So we are going to write 5. Now I'd like you to check in your booklet if this is the same answer. Yes, we got the same answer. So that means we can use the same method for the same answer. Let's try a difficult one together. You can see there's the third one. Here, remember, you start with hundreds. So we have how many hundreds? 1, 2. So we are going to write 2 as our hundreds here. Then we are going to find the tens. They are 1, 2, 3 tens. So we are going to write the number 3. And then we are going to find the ones. We have 2 and 5. In this case now, we need to add the ones together. So what is 2 plus 5? You already know the answer because it's easy. 2 plus 5 equals 7. So we write our 7 there. So this should be the answer you must get in your booklet. Let's go back into our booklets. You can see that at the bottom, there is now a different way that it has been written. We have them in words now. So they are asking 3 hundreds plus 4 tens plus 2 ones. And this one is very easy, my children. We are just going to write the digit that we can see. So let us take a look at the board. We can see 3 hundreds plus 4 tens plus 2 ones. So all we're going to do is take this number 3 first, plus 4. That 3 looks like it's sleeping, but oh well. Plus 2. And there we have it. We have 342. 3, 4, 2. The rest you can try by yourselves. Good luck. Let's now take a look at the exercise on page 8. To be a very good builder or to work on a construction site, you need to be able to compute. And this is computation. We are going to add sums, but before we add them, we're going to take them through a process called decomposing. Remember, decomposing we did before, where we break down the number or we separate the number and then we add for this one. Let's take a look at our example. We can see that it has gone through 2 stages before we get the answer. And I am going to show you how we go through those 2 stages. Let's take a look at the board. Now on the board, we have 37 plus 20. If you remember at the beginning of the lesson, I told you that the first digit is tens and that it is part of the decade family. So we want to first decompose each number and then we're going to add them together. So we're going to take our 3, okay, and then we're going to add a 0 to this 3. Then we're going to take our 2 and put it here and add a 0 to our 2. So we have decomposed these 2 numbers. These two digits, we have removed them and added zeros to them. But we still need to put the units. So we take our units and we add them right then and there. 7 plus 2 equals 9. So we're going to take our 9 and place it here. Now our sum reads 30 plus 20 plus 9. And we're going to even further decompose. But as we are now decomposing, we have come to the stage of adding. Now remember, when we were dealing with our decade numbers before, we said that we look at the first digit. So we take our first digits and we say 3 plus 2. And we know that 3 plus 2 equals 5. And we take a 0 to put here. So now that we are done with this part, it is now time to bring this part down. We take our plus sign and our 9. Now our sum reads 50 plus 9. So we are going to add 50 plus 9. It is very simple. 50 plus 9 is when we remove the 0 and replace it with the 9. So our answer at the end of the day is 59. Now I want you to check if it is the same in your book. Yes, it's the same, and it should be the same. It goes through 2 stages before we get our answer. Let's try a difficult one together. We are going to try the one below. It says 75 plus 14. Let's take a look at the board. We have 75 plus 14. Now remember, we need to first decompose or to break down the numbers. We take a look at the first digits. We know that they belong to the tens, and we are going to make them decade numbers. So we take our 7 and write 7 there, and we add a 0 to make it a decade number. Then we say plus, we take our 1 and then we bring it down. And we add a 0 to make it a decade number. So we have dealt with this digit 7 and this digit 1, which means that we still need to add 5 plus 4. And what is 5 plus 4, my dear children? 5 plus 4 equals 9. So we are going to put our 9 here. Now that we have done the first part, let's move to the second part, where we are going to add our decade numbers. So we have 70 plus 10. And remember, when we are adding our decade numbers, we look at the first digit. So it now says 7 plus 1. And that is very simple. 7 plus 1 equals 8. So we put our 8 here. Then we bring down the 0. And since we are done with this part, we also need to bring down our 9. So it becomes 80 plus 9. So our 80 plus 9 will now be added. And remember, we said this was very simple. We just replace the 0 with the 9. And it becomes 89. So don't forget that the first part is to break down the number and make the first digits the decade numbers, and then you add the units together. This is what we did, the first one. Then you add the decade numbers together and bring down the unit that you added. Then lastly, you add the decade number and the unit to give you your answer. So now that I've done 2 with you, I'm sure you can do the rest by yourselves. We've come to the end of our lesson today, and I hope you had fun. I know that we had fun as well. Now remember, it is important to sanitize your hands before and after every lesson. Because we were touching a lot of things, we need to keep our hands clean and make sure that there are no germs on our hands. Remember to always practice good social distancing by checking if you're touching the next person and even in front. But I've just realized I haven't seen our special friend the whole day. Oh, there he is. There's Zashi. So from Zashi, myself, and my friend here, we are saying bye.
Hi everyone, I'm Josh and I'm back. Even though the schools are closed, I thought about we can still do online classes, learning and reading. You can also do your schoolwork. Until next time, bye!
And that was our wonderful lesson with teacher Mutsa on mathematics, and I now know how the place values work. So let's not forget about our grade 4s and 5s. So we will be with teacher Kennedy teaching us English for week 4, lesson 4.
Welcome to my Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Kennedy. I would like to welcome my friend here, Chanel, who is going to be helping me deliver this important lesson. But before we get into our lesson, let's start by sanitizing. Let's squeeze our hands inside and outside, in between fingers. Yes. Let's make sure we are maintaining this social distance. It's important. And let's put on our masks. Right, our today's lesson is going to be about gender and diminutives. Gender and diminutives. Okay, let's turn our books to, on page 3, where we are talking about gender and diminutives. One may want to know, what is gender? Yes, gender is a noun for male and female people or animals. Masculine nouns are words for men, boys, and male animals. I understand you still remember that during the last lessons, you talked about nouns, and you were defining nouns as names of things, names of people, names of places. You talked about proper and common nouns. Feminine nouns are words for women, girls, and female animals. Those are feminine nouns. Masculine nouns are words for men, boys, and male animals. You must note this or understand, remember this. Every person or animal is identified by being male or female. Without it, we could not know its gender. I would like to give you examples of what we are talking about. Let's start with the bridegroom. Bridegroom is the masculine. Bride is the feminine. King, masculine. Queen, feminine. Actor, masculine. Actress, feminine. Father is the masculine, and mother is the feminine. So we are saying you can identify a person by his or her gender. Let's go to animals. Rooster. We are now talking about animals. Rooster is masculine. Hen is the feminine, the female. Bull, cow. Ram, ewe. Stallion, mare. Let's now go to common gender. There are other things that use the same gender noun, whether it's male or female, whether it's a male person or a female person. They use a common gender noun. They could be either male or female. Like what I'm saying, examples of people are as follows. Doctor. Whether a person is female or male, if he's a doctor, we refer to him or her as a doctor. So the word or the noun doctor is a common noun. It applies to both males and females. Dancer, scientist. I've heard people saying, my mother is a scientist, my brother is a scientist. So the noun scientist works for both. Artist, engineer, and lawyer. There are also other gender nouns that we refer to as, or we call neuter. They are neither male nor female, like lifeless things, non-living things. You cannot say this table is a male table, or that chair is a female chair. So they are called neuter gender nouns. They are neither male nor female, like lifeless things. For example, a bench, a broom, leaves, wind, floor, or buildings. Now, we need to go on to diminutives. I want to understand that you have grasped or you are understanding the masculine and the feminine nouns. Let's go on to, still on page 3, let's go on to diminutives or diminutive nouns. Diminutive nouns are used for baby people and animals, or we can safely say the young ones of people and the young ones of animals are called diminutive nouns. For example, cattle, the young one of cattle is a calf. The young one of a dog is a puppy. The young one of a lion is a cub. We can go on and on and on listing the adult animals and their young ones. Okay, boys and girls, let's continue. Let's open our books on page 4, where we have got an exercise that we are supposed to be doing. Your duty is to look into the box, the table with nouns. Just pick or write those nouns under the correct heading. For example, let me take mother. I will write it under feminine, right? So, boys and girls, I think, or I want to understand that you still remember masculine, feminine, common gender, and neuter. So do the rest. Without wasting much of our time, let's turn also our books on page 5, activity 2, where you are supposed to fill in the blanks with the correct masculine or feminine nouns. You are given, either you are given masculine or feminine, so you need to fill the blanks. Number 1 is saying master. Master is masculine, mistress is feminine. So, boys and girls, let's do the rest. Let's continue. Let's turn our books on page 6, where you are supposed to complete the sentences. Fill in the correct masculine or feminine noun in the spaces provided. I will do likewise. Number 1 as an example, the bull and the dash. If I were you, I was going to say the bull and the cow walked in the field to look for food. Do number 2, 3, 4, 5 for me. I know you are very clever boys and girls. Let's move on to activity 4, where you have to choose from the box below again. Write the correct baby animal. These are diminutives. The baby animal next to the mother animal. We have got fawn, cub, duckling, calf, nestling, kid, baby, gosling, lamb, and fowl. Write these next to their mommy animal. Number 1, we are having a lion or lion. What is the young one of a lion? Obviously, I know you will say a cub. Thank you very much, boys and girls. Let's turn our books on page 8, activity 5. There, we are having a comprehension. But our comprehension has got a lot to do with our today's lesson, where we are talking about diminutives and gender. But I would like to give you another skill for you to be able to understand comprehension passages. What I do is to read the topic first. Our topic is saying a holiday on the farm. A holiday on the farm. Then I will jump to the questions that are given about the comprehension. This will make it easier for you to understand the comprehension. I will read the question number 1 is saying, who did the farm belong to? Is this statement true? The children fought a lot. Number 3, name the 3 places the children look for animals. What was special about the calf? Which animals were aggressive? Where did the children have the most fun? What were they doing on the farm the whole time? What are tadpoles? Write down every gender noun you can find in the story. Write down every diminutive noun you find in the story. Now you know what you have to spot or to look for when you are reading your comprehension. So now I will go on to read my comprehension. A holiday on the farm. The children came from all over the country to stay with Uncle Peter and Aunt Miriam on the farm. The cousins knew each other well and loved being together all the time. It was great fun to run around the farm and look into all the corners and cages. There were many animals kept in the barn too. The cow had a beautiful spotted calf. Under the tree were the chicken family, a rooster, hen, and chicks. All the ducks lives near the pond. Every day, the mother duck takes 5 ducklings for a walk to look for bugs. Auntie Miriam had a beautiful baby girl who slept a lot. So Auntie Miriam did not go to the fields. Uncle Peter said it was dangerous because the herd of elephants had a few cows with them. The elephant bulls and cows were aggressive. The children had the most fun at the pond by the big old tree. While the children were looking for tadpoles. The birds were feeding their nestlings high up in the tree. A whole day would go by while the children caught the tiny tadpoles in their hands and then threw them back so that they could still stay alive in the water. That is our comprehension, boys and girls. So, your task is to read the questions again and go back to the comprehension. For example, number 1 is saying, who did the farm belong to? I will go back to my first lines, where he's saying the children came from all over the country to stay with Uncle Peter and Aunt Miriam. So that's how we look for the answers. Thank you so very much, boys and girls. Okay, boys and girls, I want to believe that you gained a lot when we are talking about gender and the diminutives. I want to understand that you are now able to identify diminutives, to identify masculine nouns and the feminine nouns. You are also able to pick or to choose from the comprehension that I've read the diminutives used in that comprehension, the feminine and the masculine nouns used in that comprehension. Thank you so very much for listening. Let's not forget before I go to keep our masks on and maintain the social distance. We also need to remember to sanitize every time. Remember, we are touching surfaces, we are touching desks, walls, and we are touching each other. So we need to sanitize and kill this virus. Thank you very much for now. Goodbye. See you in the next lesson.
Hi everyone, I'm Josh and I'm back. Even though the schools are closed, I thought about we can still do online classes, learning and reading. You can also do your schoolwork. Until next time, bye!
Thank you so much, Teacher Kennedy, for the wonderful, awesome lesson. We enjoyed learning about nouns and gender. But now, you guys already know that we have our region content. So we'll be in Windhoek for today, and we are visiting the Teachers Resource Center here in Windhoek. And we are speaking to Mr. Erickson Shilemba, who is the manager at the center.
This is Mr. Shilemba, TSC manager in Windhoek. So I'm responsible here to be the head of the center. And at this point in time, we are busy now receiving the booklet from the regional office. And these booklets are meant for our learners, especially in this time of lockdown. We know that it has been a serious challenge when the schools have been closed. So these materials are here just to assist our learners, especially those who do not have access to e-learning. So they are of utmost importance in such a way that learners will go through the activities, parents will come and collect the booklet, to school because we are now busy sending them to school. So we consulted many schools so that the people should come and get the materials to deliver to the school.
There you have it. As you can see, the booklets at the Teachers Resource Center here in Windhoek, and Mr. Erickson spoke about how the distribution of booklets work like and how vital it is for these printouts for learners who do not have access to e-learning. But as for me in studio today, this is my last take with you guys, and I would just like to cross over to my friend Elizabeth. She's waiting for us. So for me here in studio is goodbye.
Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth Joseph and I'm back in studio with another teacher, and we're so excited to hear what she has to say for us today. But you know how this goes. Protocol.
Sanitize.
Yes, we have to sanitize, ma'am. Always. All right, so how are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
All right.
Yes.
So just introduce yourself to me and to the viewers. Who are you and what do you do?
Oh, my name is Mungame Thomas. I'm a teacher at Matetsari Primary School, doing English grade 6 and IC.
All right. So, ma'am, just tell us what it is that you've been doing here at NMH and how did you find it?
So I find it very interesting. We were doing a setting up of our e-learning activities, lesson plan, and we are here with different teachers, and it was really very exciting.
All right. And what did you guys do yesterday? Did you go to newsprint? I heard you guys went to newsprint.
For the first time, we went to newsprint. We saw how the process of how they create the books, the booklet, and for the first time we learned that everything is done here in Namibia. And whatever, whether it's advertisement of any kind, you go there, we saw the process.
Wow, was it exciting?
Very exciting, and then we even learn about how the plates, they use it is blue, but then at the end, it is not even reusable.
Yeah, they have to sell it as scrap.
Yes.
Yes, awesome. And just how was the process for you? Like, did you find it interesting, like that in terms of the booklets and helping here? Yeah, how was the process for the booklets? Was it fun?
Very fun, and everything was new, and then we didn't. We are learning, even if we are doing it. Right. We are also it's also a learning process.
All right. So maybe if you just have a word of encouragement for your students out there, just to lift them up.
Our students, I just want to say, we were used with these classroom activities, but then we can also use other way. We cannot other way that like we are using e-learning.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. There you have it from your lovely teacher and me, Elizabeth. It was a pleasure for us to give you some information today. And the inside scoops remain sanitized, and also make sure that you wear your masks. So from us here in the studio, it is bye-bye.
Bye.